Hey, what's going on? This is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we're about to get started with Open Mic Live. But first, as always, a word from our sponsors.
At InDigital, we know the public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only i3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Carbine, it's multimedia. You can get text, translate to whatever language, getting away with the legacy equipment and going into a cloud-based solution.
It's the first time in U.S. history that we have an EZNet through cloud-native call handling.
As a police officer, to have the victim go video, that's unheard of.
You're getting upgrades every month, not every year.
To schedule your free Carbine demo, please visit carbine.com/WTT.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Dispatch.
There is no one over here to cook our lunch. We are waiting for our lunch, and there's no one here to cook our lunch.
All right, calm down. Where are you at?
The group home. Now, what are you going to do?
We'll get some help over there for you, okay?
Welcome to Open Mic, where we visit the lighter side of dispatch, because laughing is good medicine. Oh shit. Welcome back everyone to Open Mic Live. This live broadcast is sponsored by InDigital as well as Carbine. Shout out to patrons as always for everything. It is the first of the month, so get up, wake up. Little Bone Thugs and Harmony there for you. Oh, it's good to be back. It is good to be back. I have missed you all. Got Doug jumping in here as well as Zach. Welcome. As always, please make sure to share this broadcast on your feed as well as your favorite dispatch page and throw in some reactions. Please throw in some reactions there. I appreciate it more than you know. And if you have any funny 911 stories, please throw them in the comments. I will read them and we'll see if you can break me. I've got a couple funny, embarrassing stories from my past that I can share as well that I have here. So that'll be good. And episode 457 went out yesterday, and it's actually the episode is based on the DRT round 33. Had an excellent conversation with Sarah Pagel. She is a functional health practitioner with Thin Line Consulting, and the topic yesterday was the physical response to stress and trauma in dispatch. It was superb. It was so good. I had to put it out as a flagship podcast episode. So that went out there, and it's doing very well. We've got episode 458 that's going to be coming for patrons here soon, and then it'll go live next week. Also next week, are any of you going to be going to the Kentucky conference? Maybe. If you are, I will see you there. I don't have a session. I don't have a booth, but I'm going to be there. because I love that conference, and I'm going to be checking out everything that's going on. Maybe I'll bring my portable stuff, and if someone wants to record an episode, we can record an episode there. Doug, what is going on? Shannon, welcome. I missed you, and I missed all of you. This is good. And Zach, your stuff, as well as everyone else, it's going out tomorrow, so look out for that. I'll send you a tracking number as well. So again, 457 is out right now. Make sure to check it out. Episode 458 is coming up for patrons here shortly. And as always, when we start out Open Mic Live, how are you doing? How are you feeling? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome, how are you feeling? And for me, I'm at an 8. If you would have asked me like on Monday, I would have said probably not an 8. Now, it was good because Monday was the official birthday for my daughter Lola. She turned 11. And however, we were driving straight from Florida back to Indiana, yo. And that, let me tell you, is a long ass drive. It's pretty crazy. I'll tell you a little bit about it here in a moment, but I'm feeling good. And again, throw your numbers in there. Scale of 1 to 10. And also, where are you watching from? Roll call. Where are you at? And if this is your first time on Open Mic Live, please throw that in the comments as well. As we've been doing since probably since the beginning of last month, maybe, we are trying to revamp and revive the Discord server. So please, if you have not joined yet, please jump in there, and we're going to continue conversations going. There's a lot of different stuff that's going to be coming up, and so make sure to check that out. If you do join, make sure to go to the rules channel, scroll down, hit the green check mark, and then all of the other channels will open up. And we've got all different types of things in there going on. Also, today, I was saying yesterday was the last day to put in a presentation for DTBG4. And the only reason I was saying yesterday is because the last time I did this at midnight, let's say just for example, September 1st, at midnight, September 1st, it closed. Well, it's open today. So it closes at midnight today. And so if you are, if you want to present for DTBG4, I'm going to throw this in the comments as well, and make sure to get it in because today is the last day. They must have changed something up, or I did something wrong last time, which was probably me. Either way, things are good to go there. So make sure to put those in. We've got tons of submissions, tons. I'm very excited for DTBG4 and what's going to be coming up, and the speakers, just all of it. It's going to be amazing, and the keynote speakers as well. It's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to announcing all of that here soon. But again, the links are there. Make sure to check them out, and I'm excited all around for it. So it's going to be good. And my good friend, what's going on here out of Atlanta? Dude, Atlanta was a mofo on Monday when I went through. It was probably about 5 p.m., just about 5 p.m., and that shit was gridlock, yo. It took forever to get through Atlanta. I love driving through Atlanta only because there's like 80 lanes, and when I'm driving, like I'm in there. I'm like racing with everyone, just aggressive, getting in there, because if you've never driven through Atlanta, dude. Well, what? Truck was on fire? Oh, is that what caused it? Okay, my bad for talking shit. I hope everybody was okay then. But when it's gridlocked, man, ooh, it sucks. But I love driving through Atlanta because of that, because there's all of those lanes and you can go all the way through. I enjoy it, but when it's gridlocked, it's just like being in Florida. If you've ever been in Florida driving to Orlando or from Orlando on I-4, I hate I-4. But if you can get it in a good spot, it's It ends up being good. So let's see. Yeah, truck was on fire. Yep, everyone. Okay, yeah, it was pretty gnarly, man. So let me talk about that here really quick. But again, if you have any funny 911 stories, please throw them in the comments, and I will read those, because that's what all of this is about, for us to come together and share some funny stories and just find some sort of closure and heal together through the power of storytelling with these lighter stories, even if it's me sharing some personal embarrassing stories, because those are always fun too, to be able to tell those. So um so there was that. So the reason I didn't do open mic last week was because I was basically on vacation. um Basically, I said basically, because I was still doing work, but I was trying to do a bunch of stuff as well. Also, last week, Wednesday, was I am 911 day, and it was crazy. Like I've got notifications on Facebook. If you've sent me something on Facebook or posted, commented, and I haven't gotten back to you, I apologize. I'm not being a dick. I there are so many notifications, I have not gone through them yet. I just went through LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, and now I'm about to get into Facebook. I also finally got through most of the email that came in during that time. But there were a lot of stories that people were sending in, and I was posting those. I still have a few to post as well that had come in, plus all of the ones that are still in the inbox. And then from what it looked like, there's a bunch of comments as well to the meme that I posted that's actually pinned on the podcast page on Facebook. So there's a lot of stuff for me to go through. Thank you for your patience, but also thank you, all of you, for the support and for sharing all of those stories, your own personal stories on that day, and just sharing just everything. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And it was a big day, and I was trying to keep up as much as possible. I also went live that day, and I went live from the site of the police department in Frostproof, where I started my dispatch career. I was gonna go live from my mom's, because that's where I was at, working and sharing and doing all this different stuff and communicating. And I said to my mom, I said, you know what, it would be cool, and of course, if the signal works, um, is to go there and be in that area, right in that spot that I always visit, and go live from there. And it worked. It actually worked. The only thing was that when I got there, there was a crew out there weed eating and cutting the grass. So I couldn't be out there too long because it was loud. And when I saw this big ass lawnmower coming out, I was like, okay, I got to cut this short because it's going to get super loud and I might piss some people off. So I decided not to go too much further, but everybody was sharing stories and just showing their support for the I Am 911 movement. And again, I thank you very, very much for that. So, while being there, I also, took my kids to Disney World. That was a lot of fun. We did a lot of different things. But then that drive back, man, that drive was killer. And this is where I want to start with the stories, because in Georgia, I ended up stopping at a gas station that I've only heard about. I've only heard about it, but I wanted to check it out, and it's called Buc-ee's. Have you heard of Buc-ee's? I mean, this place is like a department store, but it's a gas station, yo. Now, my family was out, walking around and looking at stuff. I had to go use the restroom. And as always, there was a dude in there going beast mode. I was like, damn, dude. I felt bad for the person, man. Whatever they had, I'm glad I didn't have. Because it was like they were losing organs. It was some shit, literally. I just felt so bad, but dude, courtesy stall, man, come on. And I think I asked this before, but do women do this too? Like, do you not courtesy stall? Like, what the hell? And Shannon, maybe it was a Red Bull and a burrito, whatever it was. I felt bad for that person, especially when you can hear them like reacting to it. Oh man, it was not cool, man. Like if I were a little kid using the restroom and I heard that person, I would have nightmares. Yeah. It was like the devil was trying to come out of his ass. Like the devil did go down to Georgia. Uh, Yasmin, what's going on? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what scene that is. I would have to look it up. I saw the movie once, and it was when it first came out. I don't remember it. But dude, it was something else. Otherwise, you know, Buc-ee's was a cool gas station. There was a lot of cool stuff, man. And it was interesting. But it was enormous. So then you know, we leave and you know, the next time I end up stopping at a gas station. I don't know why this happens to me when I'm traveling. But there was a dude in there who was like a few urinals down. Urinals, okay? And dude runs in there, lets her rip, and is just like, "Oh." And I'm like, "What?" It made me think of the scene in A League of Their Own. You know which one I'm talking about? In A League of Their Own, uh Tom Hanks's character, you know, that first game, he goes into the locker room and just goes to, like, takes a killer pee, dude. Like a minute and a half or something. He's just there. And then he's almost done and then he like starts up again. He's like, "Oh." That is basically what it was. That was yeah. He was Jimmy Dugan. But I mean, you know, to each their own, dude. Right? Cuz that guy had a good pee. I was almost jealous. What's funny is that these same stories that I'm telling you right now, I tell my kids. I tell them. I don't hide that shit from them because that shit is funny. And I'll be telling them a story like this and they're just, "Wait, are you for real? Like, for real?" I'm like, "Yeah. Yeah, this person was basically like Cobra Commander yelling, 'Cobra!'" Oh, damn, that shows my age. If you don't know who Cobra Commander is or how he yells, that's not gonna make sense, but you can always Google it or YouTube it so that you can see Cobra Commander. Oh my god. Woo. For real. And that was like a 20-hour drive, dude. And I drove for 14 hours worth of that, just about 14 hours. And it was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't driven that far in a while. Just I usually fly everywhere, and I had flown out there to help them drive back, and we take off, and it was just hell. A lot of traffic, a lot of gridlock, a lot of beast mode, a lot of dudes grunting, just dropping chili. What's gonna be funny though is like next week, I'm gonna be in Kentucky. I'm gonna be at that conference, so we'll see what happens. We'll see if anything happens there. There's always something fun. There's something fun or something good that happens at the conferences and stuff, and I enjoy them. So if you're gonna be there, I look forward to seeing you. It is always a good time. I wish I was doing Imagine Listening there so that we could do another open mic because open mic is always fun. There's always a lot of good stories that come out of that. Um, but I'm excited though because what I want to try to do, and all of you who are here with me now, maybe you can help me with this. Um, well, a couple things here. But first, with Imagine Listening, one of the big goals that I am going to have going into the new year is like there are the regular conferences that I go to that I'm a regular at, like the national ones, of course. But something that I want to do is I want to bring Imagine Listening and the podcast to conferences, state conferences that I have not been to. There are a bunch of them out there, and I would love to go to them. So as your conferences are getting closer, let me know. Let me know where to go, and just where to fill everything out. Because again, I would love to go to the conference. Georgia, yes. So Georgia was fun. I did Georgia 2020, and then like the week later, the week after that, week or two after that, everything shut down. Everything. Because that's when the pandemic like really hit. Crazy. It was nuts. But that is an excellent conference right there, and I would definitely go back. But I also want to bring just continue to bring like these stories and have be able to represent and share all the stories from the Thin Gold Line from those individual states, and just continue to just basically going on tour. That's basically what it would be for Imagine Listening. But also, um, I might do a couple pilots for Imagine Listening where I'm simply going to a dispatch center, you know, and doing it there for a couple hours with different shifts and stuff. And it's just something, off the top of my head that I'm thinking of doing. But I'm excited for it. So if you have any ideas or any thoughts, or you want to be one of the first centers to be able to do this with me, send me a message. Send me an email to wttpodcast@gmail.com. And let me throw this up here again really quick. So that's wttpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll see if we can get something going, because that would be a lot of fun. Of course, if you've been in an Imagine Listening session, you know that the first part can be emotionally intense, but the last part is like this, what we're doing. It's open mic live, and everybody gets a chance to share a funny 911 story. But also, these sessions are recorded, not video, just audio. Nobody uses their names. It's anonymous. But also, like, it's pre-recorded. So if somebody does happen to slip or something like that, I edit all that stuff out. And sometimes, some of the stories that are shared, um, basically for the open mic part, not all of those make the episode, because some of those stories are just meant for us and in that time, and a lot of people who've listened to it through the podcast have gotten a lot out of it. Firebuff, howdy. What is going on? First open mic. Welcome. Where are you watching from? Where are you at? But also, in talking about this and podcast episodes, I want to share something with you all here really quick. And I enjoy episodes like live broadcasts like this as well, because we don't always have a lot of funny 911 stories to share. I mean, when we do, it's like full on. But when we're talking like this and just being here with each other, I enjoy doing this as well, because this is still, the conversation is going. It's therapeutic. You're finding out a lot about what I'm doing and stuff that's coming up, but also some of these funny stories that's not exactly 911 related, but this shit's funny. So I was looking at for last week for IM 911, for National IM 911 Day, I was looking up different blog posts that I had put out there way back when I first started all of this. So January 3rd, 2013, okay? January 3rd, 2013 is when episode 1 went out. So January 3rd of 2023 will mark 10 years of this podcast. Now, I want to read something here really quick to all of you, because I'm looking at the blog post right now, and I'm actually going to share the link so that all of you can see it as well, and some of the comments that are on there, because this is huge. This is a big thing. So there's the link there if you want to check it out, but I'm just going to read through it here really quick. And it has the original logo that I sketched out and then turned it into a graphic. Something, by the way, that a lot of people tried using it for other things. Like, I've been battling people with my logos since the beginning of this, because they would find it like in Google Images and think, oh, it must be okay. No, it's not okay. So here it is really quick. It says, "Good evening, folks. I am very happy to announce that the first episode of Within the Trenches went live today." Again, this is January 3rd, 2013. My good friend Whitney joined me, and I have to say that it went great. For those who don't know what Within the Trenches is, excuse me, this is a podcast version of a segment with the same name on the Jabberlog. So my original blog that I was doing in college, that's what it was called, the Jabberlog. And I started writing about my dispatch stories because it was therapeutic for me. I always buried those calls, and it was fucking me up. It was bad. And it got better when I started sharing stories. So a segment on that blog was Within the Trenches. And I was writing about my stories and everything. So it goes on to say, this version of a segment of the same name on the Jabberlog that revolves around 911 dispatch. I started writing about my experience about a year ago, and it was meant to be interesting and educational for the readers, as well as therapeutic for myself, which it definitely was. And all of this has been that. It's been therapeutic, not only for me, but for a lot of folks who have been on and who have shared their stories, whether it be on the podcast, an open mic session, Imagine Listening, IM 911 movement, all of it. The posts have done great on my blog, and I want to take it a step further by creating a podcast based on the stories of 911 dispatchers. I recently launched a Kickstarter project for this podcast idea in order to raise $1,500 to buy the equipment needed to make this a 4-person show. As of right now, I have 8 days left in the campaign and $330. I remember looking at that back then and thinking, damn, I don't know if I'm going to make it, because Kickstarter is you either make it or you don't. And I was freaking out that I wasn't going to make it. Now, I remember getting up to that 330 super fast, and then I think I got to 660. And again, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but the post goes on to say, this first episode is a taste of what this show is all about, and it is my hope that I can still make my goal. I will provide the link below to the Kickstarter page where you can pledge, and depending on how much you pledge, you can get a reward as well. Right now, the majority of the pledges are going for $25, and you can get an official Within the Trenches t-shirt, a thank you on the sponsor page, and a mention in one of the upcoming episodes of the show. I hope you will enjoy this first episode, and there is a lot more to come. Thanks to Whitney and everyone who has pledged to help bring the project closer to its goal. Damn. Almost 10 years ago. I am currently sitting at 1.85 million downloads for this podcast. And it's heard in over 60 countries. Thinking about it back then, never even dreamed that it would be like this. I was hoping for, 50 people to listen to it. And damn, it has been good. But it's also been because of all of you and your support. This podcast, the movement, Imagine Listening, wouldn't be anything without all of you and the job that you do, and everyone who has come on to share their story. It has changed a lot of people in the way they see what it is that you do on a daily basis. They understand more. And it's definitely personal when I have one of you on to share your stories. Now, with that being said, that 1.85 million, what are the odds that we could get that to 2 million by January 3rd, 2023? You think we can do it? Do you think we can hit that? I do. I think we could hit it. I think we could do it. I really do. It's not that far away, but man, I think that we could actually hit 2 million downloads by January 3rd, 2023. I mean, we're pretty close as it is. Yeah, Shannon, let's go. You got this and we got this too. Yes. Because we all win. We all win. Because your stories end up getting out there. Again, people understand what it is that you're doing and why you do it. Those out in the field, the same thing. And believe it or not, and this goes especially, not just the podcast, but especially the I Am 911 movement and the stories, even though there are a lot of hard stories, people have written in saying that reading those stories, listening to episodes of the podcast, and what you all have been through has driven them to want to work in dispatch as well. How awesome is that? Everything that you do is inspiring other people to come into this profession, and they're looking at it as a career, not a stepping stone. How amazing is that? It's all because of you, all of you. You know, there were folks who had said to me in the beginning when I started the I Am 911 movement that they weren't sure if it was a good idea to be sharing stories like that because it was going to scare people from wanting to do this job and that they wouldn't be able to use it to recruit. Well, that's bullshit. Because, again, a lot of these people have written in saying they wanted to get into dispatch because of those stories. Even though they were hard stories, they were inspired and motivated because they wanted to help as well. And the other reason that is amazing is because everyone is short-staffed now. For years, 911 has been short-staffed, but especially now, it's crazy. So let's share all of this. Let's inspire more people. Let's motivate more people by sharing these stories. Because there are people out there. I mean, all of us, we all want to be a part of something bigger than us, right? And that's exactly what this job is. Doing something that's bigger than us. Man, that's awesome to think. And more people are going to be coming in and wanting to do this job as well because of this inspiration and motivation to help. I think that's the way we do this. We put it out there. Like this, and I see it. I see a lot of centers doing this where they're sharing their stories. They're sharing what it's like to do what they're doing, or some of them are saying, "Can you do this job? How would you like to be a part of a rock star team, saving lives and doing this and that?" Like, that's the way to do it. You make it personal. You share those stories and you motivate people. Because there are folks out there who are just, "I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not sure what I want to do." But then you show them something that's awesome like this, the job that you do. And they're motivated. That's why I'm also excited for Dare to Be Great 4. Coming up December 5th through the 8th, 2022. Because it's open to everyone. And I know, because I've gotten messages about it, a lot of people who had friends and family, one that wanted to know more about dispatch, registered so that they could be a part of this virtual event. But also friends or family who were looking at getting into this career, they joined as well. So let's do that. Let's push it. Like salt and pepper. Austin, what is going on? Welcome. Carrie, hello, hello. Lauren. See, Lauren says, that's exactly why I'm in dispatch. I made a great living in the high-tech world, but I knew if I died, no one would miss just another graphic designer. But now I know there are at least a couple of people who may not be alive right now if I hadn't taken their call. Hell yeah. Well done. Oh, it gave me goosebumps. That was excellent. Thank you for sharing that as well. You know, that's one of the other things, you know? Why do you do what you do? Why do you do this? And that's one of the main questions from the podcast. How did you get into it? Why do you do this? And it's been the same formula since that first episode. Since before that first episode, and actually 2010, the very first version of everything it is that I do now. A project out of college. Digital storytelling. How did you get into dispatch? Your worst call, your best call, and why you do what you do. It's been the same formula since then, and all of these stories have come out. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think we can definitely hit that mark. We can hit that 2 million mark and have more people sharing their stories and motivating more folks to get into our profession. Because there's a lot of folks that have gotten into this and almost immediately it's in their blood. And they want to keep going. I mean, that's how it was for me. I had no other experience except for retail management. And I can say along with fatherhood, that both of those were preparing me for this job. Multitasking. Man, multitasking like a mofo, for real. But also dealing with pissed off people and trying to maneuver and navigate through your words. Other than that, the other experience I had was William Shatner and Rescue 911. Nothing else. But as soon as I got in there, man, I fell in love with it. And I've been in love with it ever since. It's been good. It's been a great experience. Hello, Ruth. Hello, hello. And Hank, my brother, welcome. So let's push it. Let's keep going. And I want to share something here really quick. Oh, Chad, what is going on? I grew up on Rescue 911 too. Yeah. See? That's another thing. Like, that was one of my favorite shows, man. One of my favorite shows. One thing, though, is that every one of those episodes had a good ending, right? And they show the dispatcher meeting the people. And I remember taking a bunch of calls, and I was like, I haven't met anybody yet. But also, not all of those calls have a good outcome, right? But when they do, those are some great ones. Those are the ones that stick with us as well. So Carrie says, I was a front desk clerk at local PD, and they let me sit in at dispatch. I fell in love. At 30, I finally knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, and now I teach others. I love this field. Oh, love that. Let's keep that going. Why did you get into this? Did you just fall into it? I mean, that's kind of how it happened to me. But again, fell in love with it. Carrie also says, by the way, Rescue 911 is on YouTube. Really? Oh, okay. I know what I'm going to be watching after this. That's going to be good. So, also in looking back at some of these older blog posts that I put out there, February 20th, 2013, I put out, it might have been before this, but either way, I put out an open call. I think I had a page that I created a long time ago that I was putting out there to people to say, here's an open call. If you want to be on an episode and share your story, let's see. It says here, send us a message through there with your experience, any memorable stories, and why you do what you do, and would like to be on the show. I might do that again. What do you think? Do an open call? Put it out there? It's interesting to read some of this stuff that I wrote almost 10 years ago and to think of where I was then with a speaker, and it had 2 microphone ports, but it only recorded in mono audio. I still get messages from people, well, not messages, more so comments on like Apple Podcasts, reviews saying, listen to the first few episodes. It's only mono audio. So you would be able to hear me out of one side and my guest on the other side because it wasn't stereo. I didn't have the equipment yet. And some of those episodes I just recorded with like headset, just a regular like earbuds. It's come a long way, man. A long way. I think I'm going to do that. I think I might throw that out there as a new open call because that was a lot of fun doing it then. But also, again, looking at this episode 1 and trying to hit that goal. That'll be awesome. Let's see. Chad here says, I was jobless right before 9/11. Ended up taking a job working mall security. After a couple of months, they asked me to fill in as a dispatcher in the security command center, and the rest was history. During my 8 years as the lead dispatcher, I developed the dispatcher training program that's still being used today. I left the mall security dispatch back in '09 and haven't really looked back. Man. Oh, thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that very much. So, this has been good having you all here and us talking and reflecting on what it was like in the beginning. If you told me back then that I would be where I'm at today, I'd be like, whatever, dude. I'm going to be a 911 dispatcher. I don't know. I don't know that I could do that. But I did it, and I loved it. I loved it. And I still do. So, going from there, and still, excuse me, I want to know, with all of you who are here and everything, how did you get into this, or why did you get into this? But while you're typing this out, while you're putting it out there and sharing this, there's a few stories that I can tell here. Keely, what's going on? Hi, I'm late. What have I missed? I was playing bingo. Did you win? Wait a minute. Is this dispatch bingo, or is this like straight up bingo, like at a hall? Keely, bro, you know my story. I do. We're just we're reflecting. We're also telling funny stories, but we're reflecting. So I remember. Oh, you're camping. Oh, nice, excellent. Well, hey, thank you for joining. Because man, you're camping, and camping is fun. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and I appreciate that. I chuckle because that's how one of my favorite songs starts out. So Yasmin says, got into 911 after my sister was a DV victim when I was a kid. Hearing all the stories of the law enforcement involved, and as I got older, she mentioned the 911 operator, and I thought, let me look into this. It's brought me to great places and getting to know amazing people in the industry. Yes. Excellent. Carrie says, dispatch bingo. We have too many newbies that just don't know. Yeah. Ruth says, was an officer for a gated community and was asked to take a job in dispatch, and 23 years later, here I am. Well done. Well done. That is excellent. And right back at you, Keely. Hashtag facts. Yeah. So, I remember driving to dispatch that first night. Okay. Earlier in the day, though, the chief of police showed up at my house to ask me if I wanted the job still. And it was a small town, Frostproof, Florida. Frostproof, Florida, if you want to look it up. And so he knew everyone, and he knew where I lived, of course. And he showed up there, asked if I wanted the job, and I said, of course. So, I thought that I didn't get the job because I hadn't heard from them in like 2 months. And he goes, no. We've got a long background check. Like the whole process of the background is long. So that's what took forever. And a lot of times when you're getting ready to start a new job, you sometimes start the following week. So I asked if that's how it was going to go down. And he goes, no, actually you start tonight. And I thought he was joking. And I laughed and I was like, for real? And he goes, do you want the job? And I said, well, yeah. I wasn't expecting to be starting tonight. And he goes, well, you're going to be working the midnight shift, and it's going to be 10 p to 6 a. And I remember he left. I went and took a nap, And because I had never really worked midnight shift before. So I go in that night and I'm freaking out, man. I'm nervous. I only know what I've seen on TV. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I didn't know how it was going to go down. So I walk into the lobby area, go through the door, and come around the corner where dispatch is at. And I'm there with my trainer. His name was Harry. And I'll just say he was a very seasoned dispatcher. and he starts showing me everything. And the radio we had was an old ass like Motorola radio where it was in the console, okay? And all of the different frequencies are there, and then there's a keypad and then this long gooseneck microphone. Now to set the tones off for fire, you had to put in a 5-digit code. Now, the codes were taped everywhere, but if the shit's hitting the fan and you like roll over to the radio, like, and you're looking at it, I remember I would look at the number and be like, okay, no, damn it. And then, hit enter, and then you could hear the tones going off. It was like, geez, like what the hell? So, he shows me everything, and we didn't even have like a CAD system. Okay. The only CAD system they had was something that was created out of like Excel. And that was because one of the dispatchers there was going to school for computer technology, and he built it. So that was our CAD. Was something that he built. It was pretty cool. And then he showed me our 911 call handling system. And the phone rings. Frost Proof 911, where's your emergency? Now, we were not EMD certified. So if it was a medical, we would take the pertinent information and we would transfer them to what was called county radio. So this was Polk County in Florida. And they were EMD certified, and they did all the other stuff. So I'm observing him, right? I'm observing him take this call. And I am just in awe of Harry because he's just doing his thing. And in my mind, I'm thinking, am I going to be able to do this? But then also thinking too, well, there's going to be way more training. It's not just going to be this. I'm not just going to take a call without more training, right? So he ends, the call's over, and I'm sitting there, and I said, that was cool. Like, I'm really nervous, but that was pretty cool to watch you do that. And I remember him saying, "Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Because you're next." I'm sorry, what? And I started to laugh a little bit, and I said, "No, for real, for real." And he goes, "You're next." And I said, "Wait, what?" Like, and I still didn't believe it. But the look on his face was like, dude, I'm going to put my foot in your ass. Like, no, I'm for real. Harry wasn't messing around. I was next. And I remember saying to him, I can see it in my head right now. Me standing there and him standing there and going, isn't there more to this? Like, don't I get any other training other than, like, how do I talk to people? He goes, well, how do I talk to the people on the phone right now? I was like, normal? I don't know. And he goes, listen, the only way you're really going to learn how to do this is by jumping in and taking these phone calls. And that's what you got to do. It's like you have to be human first. You have to grow a thick skin, and you have to have common sense. You'll be all right. And then the phone rings. Because I was freaking out already. Like, we were talking for a long time. And I was freaking out. I didn't know. And of course, we never know, right? You don't know what's going to be coming in. Unless you hit that speaker button first before you pick up the handset and you hear everybody screaming, then you know you've got some shit call coming. Or if you're on the other side of your center and someone is typing hard and fast, you know you've got some shit coming, right? That's how you know. Or the person who's on the phone, they're repeating it out loud so that everyone in the room is aware of what is about to go down. So the phone rings. My heart is in my throat. And I'm freaking out. Frostproof 911, where's your emergency? Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong. I misdialed. I'm like, oh. Woo. I was freaking out for nothing, man. It was a misdial. It was a butt dial. That first call was a butt dial. And all the calls after that were, they were fairly minor. Some medicals would come out, some fires, especially the fires. That was a crazy thing to deal with. It was some of those fires there. And I'll get to that here in one moment. I just want to go in the comments really quick. Shannon said, I applied to be a general laborer for the county. My family knew the human resources person that was interviewing me. She knew that I spent most of my childhood in the fire station. So she suggested it. I just hit my 6-year mark this month. Congratulations. That is amazing. That is awesome. That is very cool, especially because you had that experience there as well of going out there to the fire station and, kind of hearing everything on the radio and stuff and then jumping in. I mean, it's been 6 years now. Continue. Good job. That's awesome. And Carrie says that was the universe saying, calm down. You're right. No, all of you, I firmly believe that, the universe does that. The dispatch world, man, that happens. And it did help me calm down a little bit because I was losing my shit sitting there, like waiting, like talking to him. And I was just bombarding him with questions, which is a good thing. Because that's what you want, right? You want someone who is there to hit you with all kinds of questions because that person really wants to know. They also really want to do a good job. And that's what I was doing, was asking all kinds of questions. And then the phone rang and I about shit myself. and that's what it was. It was just a butt dial. And it was just, oh, okay, I can breathe. Even though it felt like I couldn't breathe. But it went like that. And then the following week, I did end up taking a 40-hour beginner's dispatching course, which was really fun. It was cool. There was about, 30 of us in a room. And it was in Auburndale, Florida. It was at their police department in their training room. And I was there all week from really early in the morning till the evening and then go home, come back and do it again all week. And we learned so much stuff. And just, we had that chance to ask those questions, to go through scenarios, learning different things about dealing with callers. And let me see here. Chad says, my second day, I took a call of a burglary in progress. My CTO said, I jumped out of my chair when the woman said the suspect just came in the door. Dude, for real. Yeah, because you're taking these calls and crazy shit is going on. But when the suspect returns, the adrenaline, even more so, right? it's already up to here, and now it's like beyond, and you're just, it's like Spaceballs. You've gone plaid. Because then you're listening to all of this. And you're hoping that help gets there while you're going through this with this person, because you're not just answering the phone, right? You're literally there with that person. And then even afterwards, after the call is over, it's still with you. And no one told me in the beginning, you might take some shit calls. But on top of that, you need to learn how to take care after that. That wasn't there. So we end up learning on our own, right? Keely says, I say this over and over. We are in the moment. Yes. Yeah. It's like we're right there on the caller's shoulder going through it the whole way. You know, you see the depiction in movies and cartoons and everything where you've got like the angel and the devil right on each side as the decisions. Well, we're that angel on that side talking to that person the whole time, trying to help them with decisions, whether it be something like that, a burglary or domestic, or even a suicidal caller. We're there with that person. And some of the things that we learned in that beginner's course, it sticks to me today, with me today. One of the things that they taught us was how callers, or just people in general, they see what they want to see. And sometimes when they don't see it, or they don't remember, they fill it in with what they thought they saw. So this was an exercise that we did, and the instructor didn't tell us. I can see his face and everything. I wish I could remember his name, but that dude was awesome. That dude was really cool. He was dispatch, but also EMT and part-time fire out there. And he's talking to us, right? He's talking to us. We're going through all of this, and there's a knock at the door. And he's like, come in. This guy comes in. He's got something in his hands. And he walks right up to the instructor, hands him something. Now, he could have easily just simply turned around and walked just the 3 or 4 steps back to the door. But he didn't. He went the long way, all the way through the room, slowly looking at people. Hi, how's it going? Enjoy the session, you know? And then he leaves. And I remember sitting there thinking, why did he do that? He could have turned around. And all of us, and all of you probably listening as well, you're probably trying to pinpoint exactly why. Because that's what we do in dispatch, right? We're trying to solve the puzzle as well. Because that's what a lot of these calls are sometimes, are puzzles. And it's up to us to help and assist in putting that puzzle together. So I'm trying to figure this out. And the instructor continues talking. And again, he's talking about what callers see or don't see, what they fill in. And as he's talking and everything, he goes, oh, by the way, the gentleman that was just in here, what was he wearing? What? And all of us are looking at each other and we're like, and he goes, yeah, what did he look like? What was he wearing? So then everyone starts saying, you're just throwing out a bunch of different stuff. And me as well, like I can see the person in my head right now. However, it's like a slot machine. When you hit that button and you see all the numbers going, that's what my memory is doing right now, because I'm trying to piece that puzzle together to form whatever it was that I think he was wearing. Okay? And that's what we were all doing. So we start telling him all of this different stuff. And he's like, "You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong." And then he picks up what the gentleman gave him. And it was a Polaroid. It was a picture of him. What he was wearing, what he looked like. It was part of the exercise. It was to teach us how in a split second, when we're asking callers descriptions, the reason they don't always have it is because they start piecing it together on their own. And that's what we were doing. It was cool, but when he showed us the Polaroid in the picture, he goes, "This is what he looks like. This is what he was wearing." All of us were like, "Oh, how dare you?" But it was a good lesson. It was a good lesson. And that's why the dude went all the way around and was walking slow. I mean, he was walking out slow. It wasn't like an emergency situation when, for example, like this, the first call here that you had with the burglary suspect and stuff. It wasn't like that where it's happening so fast where you got to think what the person looked like, what were they wearing, all of that stuff. They start piecing things together, letting you know what they think they saw. And it was happening to us as well. Ruth says, "Very good lesson. I am stealing for training." Do it. Yes, for sure. Because it was a good lesson. It was pretty awesome. And I remember the instructor laughing, and he's like, "You guys are going to be paying a lot more attention to everything now." And he was right. I've been out of dispatch 9 years now, but I still have all of these, still have all those skills. The multitasking might not be as crisp as they were when I was in dispatch, but I still got that. And of course, still got dispatch here. Hear everything that's going on, everything that is going on, every conversation. But these are things that, we pick up. And Keely says, "That's just because we are old." I mean, but again, it was a good lesson. It was one of the things that I remember, other than, like the audio and everything else. But that one I'll never forget. Like, I can see it all in my head as it was going on. Not exactly what the person was wearing, of course, but everything else. It was really cool. Now, if any of you do end up using that as part of your training, let me know how it goes. Let me know if there's anyone who ends up like actually getting it right. Because, I mean, not a lot of people do, especially when it happens like that and you're like, "Oh, I guess I really wasn't paying attention to that person." But it shows you how callers do it. This is good stuff. Now, we are past the hour, and it has been awesome to be here with all of you and sharing funny moments, stories, personal stuff, but also reflecting on how it was in the beginning. Because I don't forget where I came from, and I'm proud of it. I am proud of it. So for all of you, I know I say this all the time, but I will always say it because it's true. Keep doing what you do and hold your head up high, because not a lot of people can do it. And don't be afraid to share your stories. That's how we get through this. I am very, very proud to be a part of this Thin Gold Line, the I Am 911 movement, all of it, with all of you. So thank you for everything that you do is the most vital piece of public safety. And let's hit that mark. January 3rd, 2023. Let's see if we can hit that 2 million mark. And let's continue to share these stories, because it's inspiring to people. And they end up, a lot of them have become motivated to do this job as well, as a career, not a stepping stone. It's been awesome. This live broadcast has been sponsored by InDigital as well as Carbine, and a shout out to patrons as always. Thank you so much for everything, and all of you who are here with me every Thursday or Saturday or some of the days that I do it when I'm traveling for Open Mic Live. I appreciate it more than you know. This has been an excellent experience, and I just love doing this. This is awesome. If you have any comments, questions, or you want to be a guest on the flagship show, you can send me a message, wttpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that is wttpodcast@gmail.com. And I think I'm going to put that out there for an open call, just like I did almost 10 years ago. Oh, that's so crazy to think, man, 10 years. If you're looking for any bonus content, you can check us out and support us as well. That is patreon.com/WTT podcast. And I thank you so much for all of that. Everything that comes from Patreon also helps fund what I do on Crowdcast for Dare to Be Great and all the other virtual events. So thank you all very much for that. I appreciate it. And then this can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitter. And you can listen 24/7 for the flagship show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good night, everyone, and I will see you in the next one.